Hello, glad to see you all grade 6. It's me, teacher Annie, and welcome back to the English conversation class. Before we start, tell me, how are you doing today? I hope that you're all good and ready to start working. So, today we are talking about community service activities that you can perform for your community. So, open your students' books to the page 78, grab your pencils, and get ready to listen and number.
Unit 11. If you recycle, you'll help the earth.
Listen and number. Number 1.
Clean up the streets. Clean up the streets.
Number 2.
Donate clothes. Donate clothes.
Number 3.
Learn first aid. Learn first aid.
Number 4.
Help the homeless. Help the homeless.
Number 5.
Plant a garden. Plant a garden.
Number 6.
Do volunteer work. Do volunteer work.
All right, now let's go over the words once again. Just let's read them and repeat. Okay? Do volunteer work. Do volunteer work. Learn first aid. Learn first aid. Donate clothes. Donate clothes. Clean up the streets. Clean up the streets. Plant a garden. Plant a garden. Help the homeless. Help the homeless. Now, language box. If you clean up the streets, you'll help your community. Once again, if you clean up the streets, you'll help your community. If you learn first aid, you'll help people. Once again, if you learn first aid, you'll help people. Well, now we will watch a video, and before we watch, let's see which questions do we have to answer to. So, number 1 on the page 78. How can you help make your community cleaner? Yeah, number 2. How can you help do something that needs to be done in your community? Let's find the answers.
Community service. There are many ways you can help your community to be a better place. If you clean up the streets, you'll help your community. It'll be a cleaner place. If you do volunteer work, you'll help do something that needs to be done. It could be helping to build a school or visiting lonely old people. If you donate clothes, you'll help someone who needs them. If you help the homeless, they'll have food to eat. If you plant a garden, you'll help the environment. If you learn first aid, you'll be able to help someone who is injured. There are many ways to serve your community. Which way do you think is best?
Well, I hope that you took your time and wrote down the answers. Let's check it out. Number 1, how can you help make your community cleaner? I can clean up the streets. Right? That's what you have to write. I can clean up the streets. Number 2, how can you help do something that needs to be done in your community? If I do volunteer work, I can help do something that needs to be done in my community. One more time. If I do volunteer work, I can help do something that needs to be done in my community. What does this mean, volunteer? Do you know? If you don't know, please go to the Google Translate and find the translation so that you can understand. But I hope that you understand what's that. If I had to explain it in English, because I'm sorry, I don't know Thai, unfortunately, I'd say that volunteer work is some helpful work for others which is not paid. That's the basic meaning of it. It can be so different. It can be some little work or some big work. Okay, now that we're done with these answers, let's move ahead to the page 79. Again, grab your pencils, get ready to listen and write. If you need to stop the video and write something down or rewind, please do that. Let's go.
Listen and write.
We're going to do community service. If we do volunteer work, we'll help our community. What should we do?
If we clean up the streets, we'll help our community be cleaner. Yes, and if we plant a garden, we'll help the environment.
What else should we do?
I think we should help the homeless. If we help the homeless, they'll have food to eat.
Yes, good idea.
Well, first of all, let's check the answers. Let's check the blank spaces. What did you write in them? So first part, if we do volunteer work, we'll help our community. Yeah? Once again, if we do volunteer work, we'll help our community. Part 2, if we help the homeless, they'll have food to eat. Once again, if we help the homeless, they'll have food to eat. Yeah, good. And now let's read the episode together. We're going to do community service. If we do volunteer work, we'll help our community. What should we do? If we clean up the streets, we'll help our community be cleaner. Yes, and if we plant a garden, we'll help the environment. What else should we do? I think we should help the homeless. If we help the homeless, they'll have food to eat. Yes, good idea. Okay, now that you are done, I hope so, let's go ahead to the next exercise. It's exercise C. You need to listen and mark the right answers.
Listen and mark. Number 1. What will help the community be cleaner? A. Doing volunteer work. B. Planting a garden. C. Cleaning up the streets. D. Helping the homeless. Number 2. What will help the environment? A. Planting a garden. B. Helping the homeless. C. Cleaning up the streets. D. Doing volunteer work. Number 3.
What will happen if you help the homeless? A. They'll be clean. B. They'll have work to do. C. They'll help the community. D. They'll have food to eat.
All right, let's check it out quickly. Number 1, the right answer is C. Number 2, the right answer is A. Number 3, the right answer is D. Once again, 1, C. 2, A. 3, D. Okay. It was not an easy class today, but a little bit of work is left. So now let's open our notebooks. Community service activities. Vocabulary. Do volunteer work. Learn first aid. Donate clothes. Clean up the streets. Plant a garden. Help the homeless. Now you need to finish these sentences. For example, number 1. If you do volunteer work, you can help do something that needs to be done in your community. Or make your own answer. Easier one, shorter one. Number 2. If you learned first aid. Number 3. If you donate clothes. Number 4. If you clean up the streets. Number 5. If you plant a garden. And number 6. If you help the homeless. Good luck to y'all. That's it for today's class. Thank you for being patient and good and smart and intelligent as always. I hope that next time when we'll meet, you won't be shy when we will have online class. Okay? Tell me yes. Your homework is pages 78 to 79 in your students' books. Make sure you're all done. And pages 46 to 47 in your workbooks, exercises A, B, C, and D. If that's too much, you have time to finish these exercises next week, okay? So don't hesitate, you still have much time to work. You don't need to do that in one day, okay? Take your time. But sure, faster, better. I wish you to have a wonderful day, and I will see you in our next video as usual. Goodbye.